Welcome to self-discoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living, right here on self-discoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my wonderful repeat guest is Michelle Lang Harwood, or is it Harwood Lang? Which way does it go, Michelle?
Harwood Lang.
Okay.
Just don't call me late for dinner. You're all good.
Now, Michelle was with us a little while ago, back in 20. It's hard to believe that it's 3 years already. And we were talking about the kindness grows kindness. You know, when you're nice to people, those good vibrations expand out, and how we can take suffering and change it around to something positivity. And we're going to be kind of elaborating on that today, though. Please do come back and listen to that previous show because it will illuminate you. What we're going to be talking about today is, she's an etherical artist and she's challenging positive energy, creating luminous boundaries artistically, but she's also coming out of battling cancer. She is, at the present moment, cancer-free. Yay! Wonderful. But as we talked about pre-show, you don't go back to who you were. You are in a new body. You are, you're having to get to know who you are now and what you can and cannot do as you are in recovery. And sometimes it's just slow down, pay attention. Okay, body, I hear you. I love you. Let's do it your way. And sometimes it flattens you and it's completely in control. And sometimes you can actually drive the bus and actually be in control. But you've got to know what, when, and then how to deal with it. And a positive attitude and kindness to yourself is absolutely important. This is not a time to beat yourself up because you can't go and do what you wanted to do. This is a time to listen to yourself and what you can do, and embrace and celebrate what you can do each and every day. That is actually how you grow back into healing. So welcome back to the show, Michelle.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. I feel very blessed to be in your circle and to be on your show today. I've always enjoyed and appreciate what it is that you do and how you celebrate life and the gift of others. So I feel fortunate to be here in lots of ways.
Yes, in lots of ways. Like you have beaten cancer, that, when somebody first gets given that diagnosis, it's like, automatically people will go to, is this the end? Or how much fight do I have? Or can I survive this? And I think very initially, the kind of actual shock of the diagnosis can cripple people. And I've actually known people who have died within a week or two of the diagnosis just because they gave up or panicked so much. And everything can be beat, can't it? And
it can, it certainly can. And I would say that it's a very important point that you're bringing up. The initial diagnosis, it's important to come to that place with a sense of hope and positivity, and that is, I would say, 80% of the battle. My mental and emotional and spiritual well-being, not only did I have a medical plan of treatment, I had a spiritual plan, an emotional plan of treatment going through this journey, because I understood instinctively that the best way to go around this was to make sure that my spiritual, emotional, and mental well-being were set in a place where I chose to say, this is unfortunate. However, this is not a death sentence. Yes. I'm choosing not to have a death sentence. I'm choosing to have light and love and positivity and kindness to myself, to say, it's just a moment. This doesn't define the rest of my life. I choose to live for now. I choose to live for all the moments I've gotten me up to this point. I also realize that all of my living and challenges and life experiences up to that point of that diagnosis were a wonderful experience that got me ready to say,
yes,
the worst of it I've been through. I've seen many things. I've felt many things. And this is my moment of truth, the test of my true mettle of, I have cancer. Yes. Did I cry? At first, no. But when it was quiet and there wasn't anybody, yes, I took a moment to say, holy crap, I've got cancer. Now what? Now, how do I really feel about that? I'm scared, but I'm not dying. I am not dying. I am not saying that I'm dead. I am not giving up. I went to work to study about what I needed to understand of what steps were next. Well, I loved myself enough to cut my hair. I loved myself enough to say to myself that I know I'm going to lose my hair, so what am I going to do about it? I am going to take a moment to cut my hair, to color it, to get ready for that moment that when treatment starts, I already have this mental space of looking beautiful, feeling great, and then when that moment arrives, and it did, where I had to emotionally deal with, I'm losing my hair. And that came in, you know, I had my surgery. That went well. I had people around me to help me get through that. I kept working, kept living, kept doing. And then when chemo arrived, that was kind of a, oh, wow, we really are here.
Yeah.
You know, feel the emotion of we really are here. It is with certainty arrived, because I don't think mentally for me, going through the surgery was, you know, this is surgery. We're having something change in my body. And that was okay to go through that, because I've had surgeries before, and I think having that mental state of this is a surgery and not making so much big of it.
Right.
Of,
yeah.
You know, this is breast surgery. Oh, wow. You know, this is huge. This is, and for this, it was just about, it was surgery. It don't make such huge significance about it.
Right.
And that helped me get through that first stage. The trueness of the moment arrived when it was January of 2022 when chemo started. It's like, okay, this is a certainty. This is time to level up, time to meet this, say, okay, we really do have cancer. We really are at stage 3. We really have a lot to deal with. Okay, let's find some gusto, but also compassion, understanding, quiet.
Yes.
Truthfully, just quiet to say, when it's hard, it's okay to let go. It's okay to say, today, my courage is lacking, but that doesn't make me any less. It doesn't make me not empowered.
Right.
And
it doesn't mean
some
you've
of the things
given up, right?
No, it doesn't. And I learned on that journey that there were things that I needed to say yes to. One of them was go get a therapist, because I was still working full time. I was taking care of my daughter who has some special circumstances and needs lots of extra time and help. Some of my pool of people who I trusted to be around me to get through that started to be limited. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just a me moment. How am I going to do that? That means be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't say that you're not enough. Say that you think of those things that you had gone through before you got here. And how did you get there? What was that commonality? Take an inventory of your life and then go celebrate all the courage you had, all the strength that you had, and then summon it up again. Summon it to yourself and say, you know, I've done these things. I've done hard stuff.
Yes.
I can do this. Yep.
It may be rough, but you
do
can.
this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And bearing yourself out in the wilderness, standing there on your own 2 feet, takes a tremendous amount of courage. And that meant saying, yes, I'm having a rough day. Yes, I don't have the strength I need, but I said yes to getting a therapist because I got stuck. I needed that extra help to expand my emotional and mental acuity, to say, just to check in with myself, because knowing that my support systems were becoming limited because of life changes for them, I had to go find a way to let life touch me and let that out. And what I discovered was a truth, and I'm so grateful for the therapist that helped me on that journey. And that was, Michelle, you have so much strength and courage. Don't think that you're weak. You can be weakened in your strength to
Yes.
expand yourself, to become stronger. And then I had this visual of, I'm like a piece of steel. I am this piece of steel that has been bent and molded, and in order for me to get even more stretched into me, be strengthened, is I've got to heat things up. And the heat things up moment was having cancer. It was heat me up to find the hope and belief in myself, so that I could stretch the test of my metal, my already strong parts, to say that I can be stronger. And I found more strength and courage, and I found beauty in that process. I decided, well, you know what? I may be bald. I may have lost all my eyelashes and my eyebrows, and I may not be. I've gone into this.
We're having a bit of a tech problem here for a moment.
As beautiful as it used to be. I am here.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully we got over that little loop there. But it is
Yeah,
about
hopefully
finding
we
that
did get
strength,
that.
isn't it? It is that you already were a strong person. You've already faced so much in life. Sorry, folks, a little bit of an internet drop there, but you were talking about all the journey that you'd taken before. Everything had prepared you to face this cancer now. Are you with me with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Right now, I've got you frozen there right now. So we've got some fun over the internet. But that we don't realize how strong we are. We don't realize how resilient we are. We don't realize that everything that has happened to us before is generally preparing us for something big to come, good or bad. And that even going through the bad can show us the good that comes out of it.
So true. I would have to agree about that, because in that there's difficult differences and challenges, we can find the opposite of that, which is joy and hope and happiness in the moment. And I would have to say I am so grateful to have the journey of cancer. Why? Because I found greatest self. I found the greatest joy of understanding how much strength and courage I have inside, and that this learning, this opportunity to learn and find myself even more than before. I mean, we think we found ourselves and we get to that place of being comfortable, and then we have a chance to find greater resilience, greater strength, greater knowledge, greater empowerment than we ever thought was possible. And having, saying that out loud is like, there is great possibilities in the power of positivity and the power of kindness, compassion, understanding, forgiveness. All of those soul languages, I call them, they bring about a great joy. And when you're doing the rough and you're standing in the wilderness, as Brene Brown says, you've got to own that.
Yes.
Instead of shrinking from it, saying that you're not enough or you don't have enough. And I think that's where we're taught that in the greatest trials of our life, we're tested, we are weak. No, we are weakened. That's the truth. We are weakened for a moment
Yes,
to
weaken for a moment. Yeah.
bloom,
Mm-hmm.
to bloom into a greater strength and vision of yourself and your capacity and your capabilities and an energy that is waiting in here to give you the greatest amount of strength and courage to just go, do,
Yeah.
be this wonderful sense of self that is a inspiration, you know, to life, and that life is worth stopping for a moment to just
Yes.
say hi.
Yes.
I'm scared for the simplest of things, and it might be just for one particular day. For me, it was while I was having treatment, I took my sketchbook with me, and looking out the window and seeing the clouds, even if it was had snowed the day before, there was joy in the clouds. There was joy in after the snow. There was the spring. When spring came, there was joy in the spring, and not take for granted
Yeah.
the small things of life. You know, the bloom of the daffodils,
Mm-hmm.
and thinking, you know, seeing the clouds and the poetry that shifted through my head. I wander lonely as a cloud. Oh, to just be a cloud today
Yes.
and paint the sky with my imagination, and just
Mm-hmm.
say, just sitting in that chair instead of focusing on what was happening to my body,
Mm-hmm.
which was a gift in and of itself, was to find a way to focus on something more than what was happening internally to me physically.
Right.
Because those were the days I have to that I looked around and there wasn't anybody sitting there beside me being a support on any particular day. And, you know, I had support, but there wasn't always support there. So I had to understand, instead of doing that inwardly thing of I'm alone, I'm
Yeah.
afraid,
Yeah.
what to do. My childhood came to the surface, and I remember laying in tall grass, 3 feet tall. The sky is blue, the clouds are fluffy, and there isn't a care in the world. And my mum happened to remind me of that. Remember some of the things you did when you were little?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yes, you're right. That's very true. So when I sat in that infusion chair, looked out these giant windows,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden with my sketchbook, I was wandering lonely as a cloud, and I was cloud painting like that 6-year-old who's in a fort in a tree looking
Mm-hmm.
up at the sky going, there's an elephant and a zebra and a
Yes.
dragon. My imagination went wild, and I found that getting into that space of my inner child was the
Mm-hmm.
greatest blessing on those days when there wasn't somebody sitting next to me
Right.
saying, are you
I've got
okay?
you. Yeah.
How are you doing? You
Yeah.
know?
Our inner child never abandons us. We abandon it.
No.
We abandon our
Yes.
inner child. But our inner child is
Yes.
always with us, and it's always there to support us, to remind us, to give us love, but also needs love and attention themselves, right? And that's just often the recognition that they're there, that inner child, just to say, I love you. You know, I'm sorry that this happened to you, but I'm there for you. And then that inner child's love that comes back to you, bringing about the simplicity of life. You know, like as you were talking about energy, it's like you are that cloud trying to push against the wind and go in the opposite direction. Well, you know, that's kind of how the cancer feels like, you know, you're trying to push against it. If you go with the wind, you'll get through it and you'll come out the other end. And it's like knowing that you're going to get through it, knowing that that energy is going to push you through. And as you said, refinding your energy. It's different now. Whereas your energy would have been used in that way before, your energy now is more conservative in where it is used, how it is used, and what it is used for. It's more meaningful and more purposeful, isn't it?
It is, and you're very right on that. You become very aware of, how do I want to use my time, my energy, my gifts,
Mm-hmm.
and who's allowed in the inner circle to participate in
Yes.
that, and how do I want to stretch myself into into having in choosing where that energy goes. You do, because you become very aware of the amount of energy you want to use to be there for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not selfish to say, no, I can't do that today. I'm not really up to it. That's
Yeah.
not selfish. That's saying, what I need the most right now is me
Yeah.
having strength and courage. And if I choose this activity, this option, this other energy flow, I'm giving myself away. I'm giving away what I need for me.
Yeah.
And I learned, you know, that's why I love my journey for cancer, because I learned to say yes to me. I'm very good at giving energy and helping others. And in the years, it came at a cost to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And now I had to say, I love, appreciate me, and I'm going to be kind to myself by saying, that's not something I want to do. I
Right.
need all the strength and courage I have to get up, to go to work, to take care of my daughter, to take care of me, to say, and it also meant a learning lesson for me to say, I need help. I'm
Yes.
having a rough day
Yes.
today.
Yes.
I don't have what I need, but what and can you come help me?
Yeah.
Can we go to lunch? Can you take me for a drive? Because I'm in so much pain. I just don't think I could drive, or I'm so tired and exhausted. I need to go get groceries. Can you help me with it? I need to rest. Can somebody take my daughter so that she's not lost? And see, this was her journey too. It
Yes.
wasn't just mine. It was her journey, watching her mum go through cancer, go through the hospitals and the doctors and the treatments, and come home, and how well is mum going to be?
Yeah.
You
How
know,
old is
it was
she?
her fear. She's going to be turning 13 at the end of the month. So she was
So,
12 through this
right.
journey.
Yes. And that's an
And
awkward age at any time. Never mind with
it
mum going
is.
through this. Yeah.
It is very awkward. You're trying to find your space and where
Mm-hmm.
you belong, and let alone mum's got something going on. And I have to say, she was very brave. And there were moments in her life where she watched me flounder around and get stuck. And she's like, Mom, I'm going to go make you some dinner.
Ah.
And here she was having a go at making dinner, even though I was not even 100% present to her in the kitchen, in and out of, I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted, and falling asleep in the chair and waking up, Mama, I made you something to eat. And I'm like going, oh my goodness, you're so brave. And it wasn't about you made a mess in the kitchen. It was about appreciating the love
Mm-hmm.
that she gave me when there was none else. And it was my turn to cook dinner, and I just couldn't do it. But
But it
I
also
didn't
taught
say
her
that.
something else, is that she's more
Yeah.
than capable at that age to step up and take
Yep.
over some reins. And that
Yes.
in doing it for you meant it so much more meaningful for her, knowing
Yeah.
that she'd take that burden off you. Look, Mum, I can do this. I've got this. Ask me to help. Ask me to do things,
Yes.
right? Because that's important that
Yes.
they do know that, because 12 is a very good age to step up and contribute, right? But it also
Yeah.
gives them a foundation for their future
It
of
does
that
about, yeah.
capability, stepping up, being there for somebody
Mm-hmm.
through hard times, and that how capable they are in helping someone else. It's a very empowering for them
It
if you
is
allow
very
them to
empowering.
help you.
Yes. And that's where the trust comes in, and building
Mm,
relationships is seeing the value of that she did this then and there, and the joy of that bring to filling up my bucket, and how that gave her an opportunity to grow, and
hmm
for our relationship to grow and to build trust. And you're right, it was very much like that, where it's like, you can step in and you can help. And then there was other conversations exactly like that.
Yeah,
Mama, how can I help you?
yeah,
What can I do for you? And it's like, how about we, one day or 2 days a week, you do cooking for dinner. That would help a lot. And she's like, really? And her face lit up like a Christmas tree. It was that very thing. And she's like, I get to cook, I get to be in the kitchen. I says, well, I'll set the menu, I'll make it simple, and you just go ahead and do it. I'll kind of like sit over here and just, you know, give a few directions, and you can be on your way. And she flourished.
Yes.
She flourished.
Yes.
She took the lead. She was like, I love the kitchen. I love doing this. I love, you know,
empowering to her the
mom.
fact that she could, and the fact that she was there for you.
Excuse me.
Right? You know, all of it is setting her up to know that A, she can do this for herself in life, but that in turning around and doing it for someone else, you know, we can cook for ourselves all the time, but you know what it's like when you're cooking for someone else. It's so much more joyful, right? So she's got the joy out of preparing a meal for someone else. She's learned the capabilities of cooking a meal. You've got the peace of mind of knowing that if ever she has to down the road, she's got it. She knows how to cook even the simple things. But it's empowerment all the way around. And it's like, we want to teach our children, quote, quote, how to fish, not always give them the fish, right? And this is, she must have felt powerless while you were going through this. So anytime you can empower her to be there for you, right, gives her that feeling that she's not hopeless, that she is helpful.
Yes, it was very much that way. We had to find many different things for her to feel empowered, not powerless and hopeless. That there was always hope, that there was always, you know, we're going to do this. You know, she was my greatest cheering section, and she still is, because whatever is going on for me, like at the moment, I have a book that I'm co-authoring, and it shares my story about my cancer journey and how life met itself with all of these challenges over my lifetime, that we came to a place of having cancer, and how did I face that? With joy, hope, understanding, letting life touch me, knowing that there was much greater energy and flow and passion of purpose in you got this, you can do this, because look at everything you've done leading you up to this point. So I'm working with Imperfectly Perfect head Glenn Marsden on a co-authoring a book that he's putting out, a new first edition. So Peyton's one like, Mom, how's it going? You know, have you done your chapter? Are you excited about this? I'm like, yes, I am. And I get to share my story about, you know, being kind to your, understand that,
being kind to yourself, understand where you're at. Sorry, folks, another wobbly. Sorry, folks, we had a bit of a wobbly. Could you repeat that, please, Michelle?
Being kind to yourself means taking time for you and feeling the emotions that come along while you're going on a difficult journey, and finding space for them to accept that that's where you're at and that's okay. And it's about not getting stuck in that place, and that through kindness, understanding and compassion, and even having a moment where you're stuck and telling yourself that it's okay to be there, are the greatest gifts you can give yourself. And it's also when somebody stops to give you a helping hand, to say yes. I had a moment in the radiation oncology department, and I was very tired. We were like, we just finished chemo. It's been 3 weeks since chemo. I was on week 2 of radiation, and I was tired, super tired, to the point that I didn't even realize that I was emotionally and mentally worn out. And I had amped up my game for my chemo and sort of like hadn't got ready for radiation and what that would bring. Because it's like, you know, I'm just doing the journey. I'm just going along, one foot in front of the other, just the routine. This is how we do this. But I didn't mentally, emotionally prepare myself for the long game of how that would feel. Because this is all very new. You know, you don't know what you're going to get. it's a mixed bag of tricks. So one day, one of the CNAs over at the cancer centre where I was receiving treatment stopped me and said, Michelle, you're not your radiant, happy self. What's the matter? And in that minute, I had to admit to myself, I chose to admit to myself, even though, you know, there was a mental thinking of there would be something wrong with me if I wasn't always strong.
Mm-hmm. You got to be the warrior all the way through.
Meant I was truly weak. So I was having a moment like that, and I hadn't really processed it completely. And this beautiful angel stopped and said, how are you doing? You're not yourself. And I just said, you know, I'm tired of and sick of being sick and tired, and the energy flow it takes to be there in that space all the time. And I realized I had to admit to myself that I wasn't being unkind to myself. I was beating myself up because I wasn't strong. And then I realized in saying that, who said that I had to be strong all the time?
Yes.
And even though I hadn't said that to this beautiful angel, she picked up on it without me saying. She goes, you know, Michelle, you don't have to be strong all the time. You just have to be here and be you, whatever that is. She says, but I have this feeling you can do this, and I believe in you. You just have to find an energy flow where you get back to being you instead of being stuck in the I have to be strong all the time.
Yeah.
Get vulnerable with yourself.
Yes.
And I got vulnerable right in that moment. I started crying, and I'm like going, yes, you're right. I'm not feeling strong. I'm exactly what you said. I think I have to be strong all the time. She goes, well, you got to let it out. You got to say it's okay to feel that way. You're going through something tremendous.
Yeah.
And she says, and up until now, you've been this bright, shining light, and now you're dim. I says, that's because I don't feel so strong, because really I'm not, and I have to admit that. But somehow I think that is something that I have to
apologize for. Yes.
Right. Apologize
Everybody's like, you're strong. You can get through this. What do you mean you're not feeling strong? You're one of the strongest people I know. But we're allowed times of weakness. And that weakness is not being weak. It is moments of weakness, moments of those energies that's just not there. Depletion, right? That vulnerability to say, no, I'm not okay. I am not okay at this moment. I'm not okay. And that is okay to say that.
It is very okay to say that you're not okay in that moment. And then once you release that and say that you're not okay, you do what you need to do. Cry, get angry. And see, those were some of the emotions I hadn't processed at that point. I had been going so forward and visioned and tunnel visioned to some degree, admittedly, now that I'm thinking about it and revisiting that moment, that you don't see where you are, and you see you. Truly see you and say, I don't have strength right now, and that's okay. I need to talk about what I'm feeling, and I need to get real about what I'm feeling. I hadn't processed the anger of, well, what the crap, I got cancer. That just is really, I hadn't processed that emotion, because the day I got diagnosed with cancer, I was there for everybody else except saying, you know, because my family's falling apart. Mom's got cancer. My best friend's falling apart. My children are falling apart. What is Michelle doing? They're helping everybody else in her strength, because that's what she does.
Right.
And in that journey, it means taking the time to say, this really sucks. I'm angry about this, or I'm really tired. I don't have strength, and that's okay.
Yes, and don't feel like guilty about it.
Yes,
right? There's that guilt. There's that guilt that I'm vulnerable right now. I need help. I can't be there for anyone else, right? And you feel guilty if you're the person that's always been there for everyone, right? And let go of the guilt. You have got nothing to be guilty about. Nothing.
Right. And you can say yes to you in that moment. Yes, I to
Sorry, folks, another wobbly. She'll be back in a second. Yeah, we've got in and out again. It's one of those internet days. No, I'm not hearing you right now. So I'm waiting for you to come back a bit. Are we there? No? Okay, so I'm going to talk in the meantime while we wait for the internet to come back here. You know, when you are a strong person and everyone looks to you and they know that, you know, you're the kindness, you're the strength, you're the person they turn to when they are going through something, that when you are actually then going through something, you almost feel guilty for going through it. You feel guilty for having something because you don't want to take your energy away from other people that you think you should always be there for. Yet life is life, and we all go through something. And sometimes we just have to go, okay, obviously it's my turn right now. I'm going through something. And I can go for it solo, isolated, or I can ask for help. But the one thing I cannot do is feel guilty for the fact that I'm going through something, or the fact that I say I am vulnerable and I need help, because that actually is another form of strength. Have we got you back, love?
Okay.
So it's okay to say, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to have a weak time in your life. You know, you don't have to be there for everyone else all the time. And whether you're dealing with something or not, like cancer, like any of your challenges in life, sometimes we just need time to ourselves and to be selfless in the sense that we are giving to ourselves and not everyone else. Because if we keep giving to everyone else, where's the loving energy for ourselves? We can't give if the cup is empty. We need to fortify our own cup so that it can runneth over.
Yes, I agree. And that's a learning experience when if you're a giver and you give to others consistently, you have to learn to give. It doesn't take cancer to do that. It doesn't take a catastrophe to do that. It takes being real with yourself and say that I'm worthy and worth taking some time to say yes to me.
Yes.
And that matters. It's not selfish, it's selfless. It's the most selfless, loving thing you can do for your family is to say yes to you and take time for yourself to relax, rejuvenate, to renew you.
Yeah.
Because you're right, you can't come from an empty cup.
No.
And it takes lots of finesse and kindness and strength and courage to fill up your own cup. You fill it up. You acknowledging your strengths, you acknowledging your own vulnerabilities and saying to yourself, having that conversation of, you know, this isn't exactly what I thought this was.
Yeah. Yes.
There is so much more to me than I thought.
Yes, exactly. And you never took the time to really acknowledge yourself because you're too busy giving yourself to everyone else. And sometimes these illnesses come along, or these whatever obstacles come along in our lives to slow us down, to make us vulnerable, almost to break us down, for us to really look at our true strengths and to really look at what we're capable of doing. I was given something 26 years ago that I will have to the rest of my life. And it can't be cured. It's something you just have to manage. And I've had to learn to say, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. But that's letting you know I can't do that. But these are all the other things I can do. And this is where my energy goes. And it's okay to say, I can't do that, or I won't do that, because my well-beingness is at risk if I do. And it's okay to do that. Right, Michelle? So it's okay to say no, isn't it? Or it's okay to say, no, I can't do that. That you know what you can and you can't do. And it's okay to not have to do everything, right?
Yes, it is okay to not have to do everything. And it's okay to say that, to be honest with yourself and say, this is where I'm really at. And I think honesty is part of that, is in giving to others, you have to be honest with yourself and say, it's okay to say, I'm not up to that right now.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with doing that. This isn't part of my principles, values, or energy flow that I'm wanting to grow for myself. So it's okay to say no in your plan of care.
Yeah.
Treatment plan for my emotions. I had a treatment plan for my mental state of being and my spiritual state of being. And in that, I always needed to consider what things do I need to do and who do I need to be around to give me that sense of energy that keeps me going one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
And what do I notice when there's a depletion, and who am I giving to that really I need to just say no.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no even if you don't have cancer or medical condition, but that you are facing a challenge of, or maybe it's just regular life moments, day-to-day moments, when you are honest with yourself and you say yes with meaning and purpose. You can do something.
Yeah, it becomes more meaningful and purposeful when you can do something rather than
you
just
need
say,
to do that. But when we say yes to something that really in the right habit, yeah, just saying yes or even because you're that person that if for others and you want to let them down. However, there are times that you do need to say no. You do need to say, I'm not in a space to do that. Why we have got to an understanding with ourselves to keep pushing through that and depleting our buckets is something that we need to do on a daily basis to reevaluate, to take an inventory of our energy and say, honestly, when you say yes honestly from here, a kindness space from you for yourself first and a kindness space to them. You can love somebody without having to totally empty your bucket. Loving them means saying, I really want to do that for you, but I don't have what it takes to do it right now. Right. Can we schedule where we can go do that activity at another time? And then they see saying, I love myself enough to be honest to say, can I do it? It doesn't mean to say you have to be mean about saying no. It just means being often true, saying,
yeah, sorry, got another hiccup there. I think what she's saying, it's okay to say no, because when it's how we say no. And you don't have to apologize if there's something you can't do, because you just can't do anymore because it's too much on you in every other way. And just say, I'm sorry, I'm unable to do that. Maybe later we can reassess or no, not at all. And it's up to other people to accept that and honor you by knowing your boundaries.
Okay.
So boundaries are important, aren't they?
Boundaries.
Know what we can and what we can't do. And it's okay for us to have those boundaries. It's okay to say, sorry, I'm unable, or I don't do that. It's okay. You don't have to be apologetic about it. You don't have to be guilty about it. It's okay to set those parameters. Do we have you, Michelle? Sorry, folks, we are having a bad internet day today. It happens from time to time. Bear with us. She'll be back in a moment. When you've gone through an illness, most people come through cancer. They get to the other side and they are cancer-free. Wonderful. Now it's very, very important for you to build up your immune system to ward off any form of cancer, because your cancer doesn't come back, but cancer can regrow. Right? You've killed off the cancer you had, but it can happen again if you don't rebuild your immune system. But it's not just rebuilding your immune system. It's making sure that your mindset, your heart set, your soul set, and your spirit set is rebuilt as well. And that it does know those boundaries, that it is in flow and in sync and and honest and true with your meaningful purpose in life, because that is one of the biggest protections you can have from anything else coming back to you, right?
Yes, it is. I think I learned that last part of radiation, and then that there is a constant, that there is a commitment that you need to keep to yourself about the flow and the energy and the work that you do with yourself. That becomes a consistent and a constant. It's not just because you're going through the chemo. It's not just because you're going through the radiation. It's not just because you're battling the side effects post chemo, post radiation. You now have a space which you live into, and that remains a constant and a consistent, because you're in that place where you've created this energy flow, and now that you are through the illness,
yes,
there's consistency to create to keep that energy flow and that learning going.
Come on, internet, be kind to us. This is an important message. Okay, you're back. You're
what
back.
you created.
So to reiterate, it's really, really important that consistency happens.
Just because you have got through the cancer, just because you've got through the illness, that you need to stop what you created to get through it.
Yeah, that's something that needs to continue on. You need to step into
when you think about
yourself. You're back. So the same mindset that you use for the treatment and the consistency of how you gave the energy to yourself, loving energy to yourself through the treatment, needs to continue post-treatment. Yep, are you back? Are you back with this?
But during that period of time, yep, I'm back. Yes.
So it's keeping the consistency all the way through.
An energy flow.
Yeah, that's very important.
And just because you've got through something doesn't mean to say.
Okay, so we switched the video up here so we can hear Michelle, and we'll just reiterate that as you said, the same commitment that you made to getting through the illness is the same commitment you need to coming out the other side, but also without dictation. Oh, now you're on the other side, you've got to do this and you've got to do that. You have to still be very in tune with yourself, don't you? As to how you need to nurture yourself as you're coming back out of it and entering back into the world. Because it's a different type of world for you now, isn't it?
It is. It's a very different world now. You run on the gamut while you're going through the treatment of procedures that you follow because of the sake of the illness. And then when you come out of it, there's a whole new you, a whole new you to embrace, and having a perspective of that newness and that you've made it a celebration of life, that you've made it also means that there's intuitive mindfulness, that if going through your journey, you've harnessed your instincts and your intuition to a point that you feel, know, and understand things that you need to take care of, then do not dismiss that. I remember reading about a couple of weeks ago something that Oprah Winfrey said, and she said something like this: you know your gut better than anybody else. So don't second guess it or fall into the trap of what other people think that you should be doing. And I love the word should, because stop shoulding, everybody, because we only do what we know. Stop shoulding.
Exactly.
And for me, that was post-treatment, that the learning that came, that arrived, was just more reiteration and ribbons on the box of what I had learned during my treatment, and it was just gentle reminders of trust your instincts, trust your intuition, and follow it as if your life depended on it, because you've got to the space of having this strength and courage, and this is a new lifestyle. This is a new growth in your life and a growth in you. Don't let that pass you by and put it down at the station of life as if it's a part of the luggage you don't want to take with you. You know, the part that I can rejoice in is that I got through it, and here are the marvelous gifts of strength and courage and knowledge and empowerment that I received, and those gifts get to stay with me, get to be encouraged, get to be consistent, get to me saying, you know, selflessly, this is what I want to need, because this is what arrived in my space during my journey that I realized that matters the most to me, and I want to keep that flow, that energy, that understanding, that way of being in my life. And by doing that, you're celebrating you and saying yes to you again, and you're creating a commitment to yourself. That you won't let fall by the wayside just because you're done. And sometimes we get so excited to win the race, we put down that baton and celebrate that we won the race, that we forget that there's still a path that we're on. There's still a journey. Yes, we can stop and celebrate the race, and by all means, I encourage it, entirely encourage the celebration. However, remember, you need to keep going and being consistent in what you learned on that journey. So
because there's a purpose behind it, isn't there?
Yes,
there's a purpose that you went through it. There's a purpose of all the lessons that you've learned from it. You're in a different mindset, a different heart, soul, and spirit set. And now you're actually open to receive what the universe wants to give you, because you're prepared for it, right?
You're right. Yes, so very true. And what the universe gave me at the end of my journey was an opportunity to write and share my story about my journey. It gave me an opportunity to stand up and say, hi, I'm Michelle Lang, and I've got something to share with you, that there are things possible. And that living consistently into yourself is a very rich gift that we sometimes let by the wayside because somebody said we should.
Right. Oh, the societal expectations of should is something that I fight against all the time. And I think most of the time that illnesses like cancer show up is because we have been living the life by expectation or by dictation, by those shoulds. And we're not honoring the gift of what we are and what we're here to do. And, you know, the universe gives us a nudge, nudge, wink, wink, prod, prod, you know, big neon signs, and we ignore them. And then they flatten us with something to say, are you hearing me now? All right. And I'm going to make this difficult for you to come through because I want you to understand the purpose of you.
Yes. Because all there is just you.
Yes, exactly.
It's just you.
We're all this beautiful individual instrument here, looking to play in our own voice, but be able to join the choir and sing out triumphantly together. But it is our voice that we're bringing together, we're bringing to the world. It's our contribution. It's our gift. And each one of us has a different gift to give. And the beauty of it is that when we give it from the heart, soul, and spirit and the truth of who we are, it is a divine gift. But when we're giving it from the conditioning and the expectation of what the gift should be, it's a hollow gift. No fault to you from doing that, because that's what society taught you to do. But what the universe is trying to teach you to do is to go in. Hello, little child inside of me. You had a purpose and you knew what that was. But along the way, as you grew up, you forgot. And I'm here to remind you what your journey is for. And I'm going to take you on a journey to discover your strength, your courage, your resilience, your abilities, your divine essence, so that you can step into the role that you're meant to step into.
Oh my goodness, you couldn't have said it any more better than that. I mean, that's all very true. And I know that because I've experienced that. And that when those life lessons come along, it is that feather or that brick that you will get because there's something that you need to be seeing about you. We
Yeah.
have to remove the perspective of somebody else's expectations and
Yes.
judgment and truly see the divine imagination that is inside of us of what we are truly capable of. And even in the most difficult times,
Yeah.
there is beauty, there is
Mm.
joy, there is you, there is this amazing person inside. And I am so grateful. I mean, people thought I was crazy in the beginning when I said, I'm grateful for my cancer journey. How
Mm.
can you say that?
Yeah.
I say it because it has taught me so much. It has given me so much healing. It got me to see me, the
Yeah.
beauty of me, the strength of me, the empowerment that's inside of there that I wasn't willing to say yes to.
Yes.
And I'm grateful for it because I love that woman that I have
Yeah.
become because of this journey. I love who she stands for. I love what she, you know, as imperfectly perfect as she is,
Mm. Flawsome.
what she, yeah, you know, and and essentially, loving who we are is part of
What
that
it's all
journey
about.
and
Yeah.
being kind, because truly kindness grows kindness, compassion
Yes.
brings compassion, heart expounds more heart.
It
when
does.
we get when we do those things, that's what we get in return. The the return on our investment is far greater than we could possibly imagine, and all it takes is a choice.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why this is under Choose Positive Living, right? So, in your first show, we talked about kindness. And so you were already, showing your gifts. You were already, your path was already kind of set before you. But although you were doing it, perhaps you were not doing it from the core of you. The heart of you maybe, but maybe not the core of you. And you had to go through this journey for your core, which you call your intuition, your gut, the very substance that is your generator
Hmm.
of you, to truly understand, to take it to the next level.
Agree. It very much was that way. You've pinned it exactly. I was living from that space
Mm-hmm.
before when we did our last show, but since then I'm very much deep to the core of who Michelle is, my soul space, my
Yeah.
heart space, truly allowing that to blossom and to see, there is we all have moments and challenges, and I still have them, but I cannot deny and I cannot walk away from the experience of what that was and what that gave to me and say, well, that really didn't matter and it's not really what it is and all of that stuff. And put blinders on.
Yeah.
No, you cannot put blinders on. You see what you want to see
Mm-hmm.
and choose to see, and I choose to see the very essence of what that journey was about. And
Exactly.
and say yes to it and everything else that follows.
And the beauty of it is that it's almost a blank canvas, but the vision of what needs to go on that canvas is up to you. Because
Yes.
you're coming from the core of you, the vision of what Michelle is now and what Michelle's journey and meaningful purpose is now is ready to be painted. But it's not coming from the outside expectation. It's coming from the core, the universal core of the truth of you. And it's exciting to see the canvas and how it will come alive. And,
Mm-hmm.
you do it blind, deaf, and dumb in order to see, hear, and feel, right? Because you
Yeah.
allow, you understand what really the word allow means. I allow my essence to walk forward, to see where it belongs and what it is needed to do, and how and with whom it is needed for. And I think that is the excitement of life. That is just so wondrous every day to know, how is my essence of me going to change someone's life. And it's not the dictation of it, is again the allowing of it, the allowing of that energy. I know that my illness, when it was given to me, it has its challenges, but my energy was too much for people. My divine teachings was too much for people. And the illness dampened my energy to a level where it could be more heard, more accepted. And I understand that now, because it suppresses that energy that was just too high. And you don't make an enemy out of it. My illness is my partner. It's there to tell me where I am overextending myself and where I need to love and nurture myself. It tells me the things I can do and not the things I can't do. And it supports me in what I can do, and what I can't do, it tells me
excuse me,
to take that time out for myself. And I think if we don't look at whatever illness we're given as an enemy, but instead as a teacher, or if it's long-term like mine, as a companion in some ways, maybe not a companion you always want to listen to, but a companion that you have to listen to at times because you know they're right.
Yes. And your body tells on you when
yes.
you
it's the snitch.
Yeah, it is a snitch. Your body does tell on you, you know, and that in itself is a lesson learned as well. Is
yes.
My body tells on me when I'm not listening. My body tells on me when I need to listen, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay that my new normal is very different, and not to frame that thinking into, well, I can't do this and I can't do that anymore. No, it's I get to choose what I can do and how much I can do, and pace myself,
yes,
and still celebrate life and still live and still be present. It doesn't mean that I get to shut the door and I don't get to exist. I get to choose how I expend my energy, who I expend it to in my circle, and where that value lies. And I'm still here. I'm still the very woman that I need to be. It only strengthened. And I think that's a very important thing to remember, what you've said, and the vision of what comes to me about that is that is very true. You choose how you see your illness. You choose how you've got through it. And now that you're through it, you know, I used to think, well, what was it for? What is its purpose? And see, even though I don't have cancer, I'm in remission, I have secondary illnesses because of it. So you choose to say, well, this is a part of my life. Either I fight against it or I accept that this is a part of my life. So what are we going to do to adapt to that new normal? What are we going to do to find joy and hope and understanding to get to where we want to be? You know, there's things I want to do. Well, a limit is because my body says, Michelle, you can only do this much. Okay, so I'm at my 20%. I'll make sure my 20% is 100% of what I can give to me and make the most of that moment. It doesn't mean to say that I'm going to go shut myself in a corner and forget about living because
it's not the same quality of life as before. Right.
Yeah. And that I have to hide.
Yeah, no, we're different. When these type of things hit us, we're different. And what you look at is the gift that was given out of it. And understand that the boundaries that are put upon us through our limitations are not there to punish us. No. They're there to protect us, right? And it's just, as you said, it's a new way of living. But the universe has its own way of doing things. And by putting these things of that you can't do this and you can't do that, wasn't a punishment, is not something to make you feel less than. It is so that you direct your energy that you do have into your meaningful purpose, right? And you don't kind of waste the energy on things that just shouldn't have your energy.
Right, because you choose what energy you want to flow to. How do you want that to belong in your space? And it's also, I think you said it earlier in our conversation, it's a way of slowing down. And it's amazing what you see, what the universe gets you to a place to see when you slow down, and the learning
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could be reading a book and you've read it 3 times already, and in that slowing down, you find that nugget of truth that's just for you, that
Yeah.
wisdom. And it's like, oh my goodness, I've read this. Wow, you
Yeah.
know, and it's there for those moments of, and also of healing.
Yeah.
You know, I said to somebody, I said, you know, the other thing I'm grateful for my cancer journey is because it was not just about healing my body from the cancer, it was healing my body, soul, and my heart and my mind from those things that I had been holding on to. And let me tell you, that was a wonderful gift, to slow down long enough to
Yes.
see those things that I had tucked away,
Yeah.
that I needed to let go
Right.
and allow them to just go, because if they were no longer serving me, it wasn't energy I wanted to keep. Why was I holding on to that so
Yeah.
terribly tightly?
Yes.
And then it
And the
was
energy you're
just
giving
release
to,
it.
giving it to energy to other people, and you go, why was I giving energy to those people who are not appreciating it and not using it properly? It's just
Yeah.
empty energy. And I used to say I was the hair. It was like I saw something, because I'm a visionary, and let's do it. Brrr, I want to see the finished product. And now I've become the tortoise, and I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying every single slow movement because of the people and the things I see around me every step that I take. It is more purposeful. It has more meaning. It is more fortifying. It gives more clarity. It is more substance because I've slowed down and paid attention to the present. And the
Mm-hmm.
gift is in the present.
It is. It is very much in the present. When you slow down and get to the present, the now, you see, truly see, and we're not talking about your physical eyes, we're talking
Yeah,
about that
internal.
inner eye, that inner internal things that you need to help you move forward and not be stuck. And it's such a beautiful place to be present to that. Beautiful.
Yeah,
The joy and energy that comes from that is phenomenal. I mean, simple
divine.
things. Divine. Yes.
Yes.
Divine. Yes. Absolutely divine.
Yeah. So what are you doing now, love? Are you just still in recovery? I know you're writing this book. Are you still working? Are you still working on your creativity? What's happening now?
What's happening now is I'm co-authoring a book with Glenn Marsden and Imperfectly Perfect. I am stepping in, putting my toe into the water of writing, not just for this, but my own
Yeah.
story, my own book. And I'm stepping into the realm of ghost writing because
Mm-hmm.
I've found a gift in writing and art. I've put art on the back burner because writing is what has, shown up for me. It's my purpose. It's where my voice is. And so that's what I'm doing right now, is ghost writing and writing for the book that's going to be coming out in January, I believe. So there will be 14, 15 other authors, and
Mm.
I'm going to be one of them. And I'm super excited to share my story about my not just about my cancer journey, but what led up to getting through my cancer journey, my faith, my courage, my
Yeah.
energy, my lessons learned, the raw truth of those experiences. And I just have to say, when you get to my chapter, you better get a Kleenex or a handkerchief.
But this is how we learn. We learn from other people's stories. We see, relatability, or, I feel that way too, or I don't feel alone, or, this is how I do it. Everything is about sharing the story that impacts somebody else's life with a how-to, or even a pivotal moment in their life of realizing where they're at. That's the
Yes.
point, and that's the reason for storytelling, right? It's educational, it's inspirational, and inspiration begets invitation. If it inspires someone to either share their own journey or take their own journey to do something for themselves, to enhance their own journey, then that's what it's all about. So I like what you have shared here today. Sharing about your cancer journey, the difficulties, but the purpose behind it, the the life after, and how it is different, and how you still need to love and nurture yourself even more, because that's where you actually understand is the purpose. It's not giving your energy away to people who just really will abuse it. It's not about the shoulds or the dictation of societal's life. It is about living from your core, from your inside out, and living your meaningful purpose, and the joy of it, the purpose of it, the illumination of it, the divine essence of it, and everything that it can be, because you have made your own self-discovery.
Yes. Your own self-discovery. It belongs to you. Everything that you learn on that journey belongs to you. It's there for a reason. It's there for a purpose. It's there to, I love the words that you speak, illuminate. Those are the kinds of words that came up in my writing during my cancer treatment, to illuminate ourselves, to illuminate our purpose, to find that passion, and to not be afraid to stand in that illumination.
Yes.
And
exactly.
to let go of the fear of what you think you should be because of somebody else's expectation, and leave the judgment of yourself alone or anybody else, and stick to trusting your core, your instincts, your intuition, and move forward one step, one moment at a time. We all love Kung Fu Panda because there's that famous moment in the movie where the characters talk about, yesterday is history, tomorrow is not here, it's your destiny, and all we have is the gift of now, which is the present.
Exactly.
And getting present to now means sometimes it's the quiet, sometimes it's that inner child that says, don't forget to cloud paint, don't forget to go do those things that you loved doing when you were a kid. Me, it was splashing in the rain puddles without my gumboots on and just enjoying it. I still go do that. When that feeling comes, it's like, I don't want to sit there and miss that moment because I was afraid because somebody might judge me, or I'm judging myself so harshly. Let me give you an example of it. Yesterday, I went for a ride with my family in the car, and we went to go get my favorite drink, which is a frozen lemonade at Chick-fil-A. And I turned the music, we stopped and we parked, and I opened up the sunroof and I turned the music up. And I remembered what it was like to just sit and listen to music, having something cool to drink. And then I felt this impulse to get up and dance. And my daughter said, you know what? I could do something amazing if you put Saturday Night Fever on. And I said, you've got it. And I stopped in that moment and heard her and realized that was part of my growing up. I'm going to get out of the car. My feet might hurt. They might not move as well as they used to, but I feel the need to dance and enjoy the music. And it didn't matter to me who was around watching, because I remember being a kid, my mum would turn up the radio and we would just go for broke and just do it.
Exactly.
And we didn't worry about what anybody said. We just did it. We just would be dancing in the living room or somewhere in our house, or even if we went somewhere and there was music, we would just do it. We didn't worry. And in that moment, yesterday, I'm like going, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to turn the music up loud and I'm going to dance to Saturday Night Fever, and I'm going to enjoy every moment of it, and I'm not going to worry about how my feet feel or my hands feel or anybody's judgment or anything. I'm just going to enjoy this.
Exactly.
It was glorious.
Exactly. And you know what? People looking on, there was less judgment, more people going, I wish I was that free.
And you're right.
Yes.
You're right, because that's what I was thinking. The freedom to just be.
Yes. Yes,
and when
in
you
the
hear,
moment, in the moment.
Yes. And when you hear that voice that says go,
go.
Just do it.
Yes.
Don't talk
worry
yourself
about anybody
out of it.
else. There'll always be people who would judge, and they're judging from their own insecurities, from their own limitations.
Yes.
You're not here to pamper to those. If your heart and soul and spirit needs to get up and dance, get up and dance. Be free.
Be free. And I felt free, and it was wonderful. And at the end of it, the additional gift that came from that was, Mom, Thank you so much. I
Mm,
haven't done that in so long. I haven't felt so free.
you're right.
And it's like, there you go. There's the
Yes,
gift.
exactly. Exactly. Now we have to bring this show to an end, though I wish we didn't, but I definitely will have you back again down the road. But how do people get hold of you, love? If they're inspired by this story and they want to reach out, how do they reach out?
They reach out through Instagram, Michelle Harwood Lang, or Creative Biz Inc. on Facebook. It's Michelle Harwood, Harwood. That's where they can find me. You can DM me if you need some support, where you need a listening ear and you're going through something, where I can help you see the positives. There's art on my Instagram page for Creative Biz, but that's where you can find
Creators
me.
Biz Inc., right?
Yes, Creative
Right,
Biz Inc. or Michelle Harwood Lang.
right. And
That's my
Facebook,
personal
Michelle
page. Michelle
E. Harwood.
Harwood.
I've got Michelle
Yes.
E. Harwood Lang, right?
Yes.
Right,
Yep. Or there's Creative Biz Inc. as well on Facebook. So
right.
either one.
Excellent.
That's where you can find me.
Great. Well, I'm so happy that we have done this show and had you back again. And that I'm sorry that you had to take this journey, but at the same time, in taking this journey, the gift that you are now to yourself and to everyone else, is really who Michelle should be. Is, right?
Is.
Is.
Yes.
And
Is.
and stepping into yourself, just being who you are, and you're enough, and you don't need validation or permission from anyone else. Right? You are just you, and you're happy to be you, and you're not going to apologize for being you, is one of the greatest freedoms we can have. So,
Agree.
the journey was rough, but what you've learned about yourself and what you're now teaching others about getting through it and becoming is just wonderful. And I know that there's going to be so much wing expansion from you, and I can't wait to see where it takes you and what you do next. So the writing, definitely just let it flow, let it flow. When we do that, that's when we really actually discover what it is we need to know. So thank you.
So very true. Thank you so much for that. You're right on the nail. Hit the nail on the head. And we discover what we need to know, and that's
Exactly.
a big thing about the writing.
Yep.
I did more learning lessons, which I celebrate wholeheartedly.
Exactly.
And it's a wonderful joy to be here, because you always bring a sense of well-being and intuition and universal understanding. You are like a conduit of strength, courage, and empowerment to me, and I appreciate who you are and that you are true to that, no matter what you do.
Thank you very much, love. I had to take a journey to get here, just like everyone else, right? But
Yes.
Now I'm here. I'm living my meaningful purpose, loving every moment what I'm doing, and loving who I am. Finally, at last as well, because I no longer need to apologize for who I am. And that's a big one, folks. Stop apologizing for who you are. You are who you are because that's who you're meant to be, right? Thanks so much, Michelle. Best you love. Keep me posted when the book comes out, and we'll do a show on that as well. And to everyone else out there that's heard this story today, whether you're going through it or whether somebody else is going through cancer or any other struggle right now, the journey that she's taken here, the mindset, the heart set, the soul and spirit set that she had along the way, and then what it has revealed to her at the end of that particular chapter is really quite extraordinary, and it can be for anyone. So if you know someone going through cancer, or if you're going through it yourself, just take the journey with Michelle here and with the book when it comes out, because I know that it will be your support and your guidance system on your journey. So until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tab at the top there, and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration, it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.